So, back in the yard again. It's much improved weather today over yesterday. And I decided the first thing I needed to do was really rake the rest of the yard, the rest of the hillside. I needed to just get it prepared. That way I could focus on digging and doing the stuff that I needed to do. Now, earlier I did dig out this set of stairs here, but they're very steep. I didn't do the best job. um, but what I noticed on this portion of the hillside, probably with the pine trees that are over here, is there was a lot of little teeny tiny pine trees hidden in the tall grasses. So I did do my best to really pull all of those up. I don't want any pine trees growing over here. Now, if I miss some, that's fine. In, a year or so, when they're big enough and I can see them, I can still pull them out. But it's always easier to catch little trees that you don't want when they're tiny. So one thing that was a pleasant surprise in my adventure this afternoon was there is already a ledge right there where I'm standing. It's already flat right there. So, huzzah! I'll probably be putting a raised bed right there. Save myself a little work. But the downside is the rest of this is quite steep, and it just is what it is. But we're making progress, we're getting there. And before I could do any digging, I really had to get all of these leaves dealt with. The leaves, in case you were wondering why I didn't just leave them there, they make the hillside quite slippery. Um, and therefore, it makes it harder for me to be able to stand up on top of it. So it just kind of ends up being a safety thing. Um, but I did use it as an excuse to rake the rest of the backyard here that I had not raked previously all winter. So I put those up in piles, and because our yard trash is picked up when it's bagged, I then bagged all this up. I think I ended up with eight bags out to the front. Um, I do still have regrets. I don't know if regret is quite the right word, but I do wish I had been able to compost some of this. But I keep reminding myself I can only do so much at once. My hands are very full at the moment. And setting up some sort of composting system is not something I am prepared for or have researched for. So, oh well. But I got these bagged up so that it's all done and out of the yard. And that was a great thing to have accomplished for today. I also took the opportunity to pluck some pine cones that were in other parts of the yard. I got those picked up. And I also had a cardboard box that I had used to hold some pine straw over to the side, and that's what I'm bagging up now. Is just getting that out to the yard, the front yard as well, so that everything is now done, and we got a clean slate, which was great. So after all of that, I went in for a little break, and then I got back out with a little helper, and we were able to work on digging out a place for this fifth raised bed. I kind of set it over to the side of the yard. Earlier, I used it to measure out and just make sure that I did indeed do an okay job measuring the length of the yard and doing the maths necessary to plan where I was going to put all of these raised beds. I wanted to make sure that I actually could fit another three, and I can. along the top. So after this, I'll have two more to build. I'm going to do one more little staircase. I think. No, two more little staircases. And you might be wondering, like, why am I putting in effort into digging little steps? And that's because in order to fill these raised beds with dirt, in order to be able to harvest the fruits and vegetables that I'm going to grow, I got to be able to walk up and down the hill safely. So that's why I made the little stairs. And as you can see, not only am I able to get up there without falling over, but my family can too. So that's really what it's for. Um, so I'll do one more staircase. I did actually already one more little staircase here today on this side, and then tomorrow I hope to be able to do one more bed, then one more staircase, and then I'm done with the stairs. And then we can just focus on getting the rest of the beds in. So that'll be a great accomplishment. I cannot wait to have the rest of the beds in because I really need to start planting some of my plants. Um, but it was a good afternoon in the yard. More progress is being made. At least I don't have to rake anymore. It really doesn't take a terribly long time to dig out a hole for these raised beds. So I'm cautiously optimistic that I'll be able to get them all dug and placed in the yard tomorrow. I sincerely doubt I'll be able to get them filled with soil. Unfortunately, it's too steep for the wheelbarrow, so I guess I'll be using buckets to fill it. I don't know. Any ideas are welcome.